Every year, millions of tourists flood Costa Rica's Pacific coast, chasing the same beaches, the same resorts, the same Instagram spots that appear in every travel feed. But on the opposite side of the country, hidden behind mountains and rainforest, there is a coastline that most travelers never discover. Puerto Viejo and its neighbor Cahuita represent something almost extinct in 2026. A Caribbean coast that deliberately refused to become what tourists expected. This is the story of how one small community said no to everything, and why that decision created the last authentic Caribbean destination in Central America. In 1976, Puerto Viejo had no roads connecting it to the rest of Costa Rica. For over a century, Afro-Caribbean families who had migrated from Jamaica and Barbados lived here in complete isolation, accessible only by boat or by walking through dense jungle. They spoke Micateleu, a Creole language mixing English, Spanish, and African roots. They cooked with coconut milk instead of the black beans found elsewhere in Costa Rica. They played reggae when the rest of the country listened to mariachi. When the first road finally arrived in 1976, it brought the first wave of outsiders, and the first threat to everything that made Puerto Viejo different. By the 1990s, developers had already transformed Costa Rica's Pacific coast into a string of international resorts. Guanacaste became unrecognizable, filled with Marriotts and Hiltons and all-inclusive compounds where tourists never needed to leave the property. The same investors turned their attention eastward, to the Caribbean coast, sensing another opportunity. But something unexpected happened in Puerto Viejo. The community organized and pushed back. They fought for building height restrictions that would become law, limiting every structure to a maximum of 3 stories. They blocked the construction of a coastal highway that would have turned their beaches into Cancun. They established land protections that prevented foreign developers from buying and transforming the coastline. 40 years later, Puerto Viejo has achieved something almost no other tropical destination can claim. It looks nearly identical to how it looked in 1980. There is not a single chain hotel in the entire town. Not one Marriott, not one Hilton, not one Hyatt, not one international brand of any kind. Every guest house is locally owned, every restaurant is family run, every dollar spent stays within the community. This was not an accident of poverty or neglect. This was a conscious, decades-long fight against the forces that homogenized every other beach destination on Earth. But Puerto Viejo offers more than just resistance to development. The beaches here contain volcanic black sand so rich in iron that it is literally magnetic. Bring a magnet to the shore and watch the sand jump toward it, pulled by the same forces that scientists believe sea turtles use to navigate across entire oceans. Just 5 minutes south, Cahuita National Park protects one of the only living coral reefs remaining on Costa Rica's Caribbean coast. A 1991 earthquake lifted the coastline and killed most Caribbean coral, but Cahuita's reef survived for reasons scientists still do not fully understand. You can snorkel over 600 acres of brain coral and elkhorn coral while howler monkeys watch from the trees just meters away. The park entry operates on a system found nowhere else in Costa Rica. You pay what you want, even zero, thanks to an agreement negotiated by the Afro-Caribbean community in 1994. In the mountains above Puerto Viejo, the Bribri indigenous people have cultivated cacao for over 3,000 years. They consider chocolate sacred, and they have never been conquered, not by Spanish colonizers, not by the Costa Rican government, not by tourism developers. When you visit their villages, you go on their terms, learning techniques passed down through 100 generations. The jungle surrounding Puerto Viejo is part of the Mesoamerican Biological Corridor, a protected pathway stretching from Mexico to Panama. Jaguars still use this corridor to move between forests, and camera traps have captured them walking past beach bars after midnight. The Jaguar Rescue Center rehabilitates over 200 sloths every year, releasing many of them into the forests directly above town. Walk any trail in Puerto Viejo, look up, and you will likely spot a sloth within 30 minutes, hanging in the wild exactly where it belongs. This density of wildlife exists precisely because the development that destroys habitat elsewhere never happened here. Puerto Viejo's future is not guaranteed. Land prices are rising as word spreads about this coastline. Developers continue to circle, waiting for regulations to weaken or communities to tire of fighting. The same pressures that transformed every other Caribbean destination are building here, year by year. The question is whether the protections hold, whether a new generation continues the resistance, whether Puerto Viejo remains Puerto Viejo or becomes just another resort zone with a different name. If you want to experience this coastline as it exists today, the window is open but not forever. Every year you wait is a gamble on what remains. For now, Puerto Viejo stands as living proof that another path was always possible. Where communities chose character over profit, where protection was written into law, where beaches were kept for people instead of corporations. This is the Caribbean that refused to change. And in 2026, that refusal is the most valuable thing it has. If you want more hidden destinations like this, subscribe to this channel. Check the description for travel insurance that actually covers remote Caribbean expeditions.